All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday to you all. Yeshwant, much love to you. Thank you for tuning in from India, as always. It's good to see you in here. Peoria Beat, thank you. Nice short. Thank you for joining. Samuel S. and R. Pink, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for modding for me. And guys, thank you for hitting the like button. Please do hit the like button if you do get any sort of insight into the market from this live stream. And we'll get into this, you guys. There's Quiles, welcome in. Darksby, welcome in. Lil Rick 69, welcome in. So yesterday in the Telegram, I posted that we were rising in this channel. We hit the top of the channel. We hit the value area high of the range. And we started to dump pretty aggressively there. By the way, I also posted about that Uniswap short. Uniswap long position. Why can't I type right now? There we go. We talked about it yesterday in the Telegram or in the live stream along from here to come up to take full profit at that liquidity level. And we ended up winning that trade, a 6.3 risk to reward ratio there. So now we are dumping. That is just a side note. I wanted to talk about that scalp that played out yesterday, but let's get back to Bitcoin here. So we dumped outside of this channel. It was just a, corrective move. Once again, another corrective move. We keep seeing impulses to the downside followed by corrective moves up. And after, taking out liquidity of the local range high, we were kind of developing that triangle in there during the live stream yesterday. We came up, we took some liquidity. We actually hit the value area high that was front run by just a few dollars. And then we started dumping. Well, we dumped down to the anchored VWAP and we lost our channel. You can see we then came up, we back tested the channel and the point of control of the range, and then we dumped down and we're taking liquidity. Now, I've been talking about, guys, that it's probable because we broke market structure bearishly that we come down and sweep all of this liquidity at 61K. I also talked about how we would see little bounces at each liquidity level. We would see little scalp long trade opportunities at each liquidity level. Not necessarily a reversal in price, but these scalp longs. So we came down, we grabbed liquidity, we saw a little bit of a bounce. We come down again, we grab liquidity, we see a little bit of a bounce. Let me grab our horizontal ray. You can see that we had that perfect liquidity grab of that low, and we're seeing a little bit of a bounce. Now, that doesn't mean that the dump is over. I'm actually looking for a potential rejection from the VWAP, or I'm looking for a potential rejection from our local golden pocket. And the reason why is we can count a 5-wave move in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a 5-wave move. Now, I don't think this is quite a valid move because your third wave can't be the shortest wave, and it is inside of this impulse. So we might be looking at a much bigger third wave in progress, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, where we've been building these 1-2s in here, 1, 2, 1, 2, and we might be starting at an aggressive third wave to the downside, which could dump us, really, it might even dump us down to around $57,000, $56,000, $57,000. And then we would be looking for some 4 or 5s afterwards on some higher time frames. But we talked about how each liquidity level, we would probably see a scalp long opportunity. The SFP, you get a little scalp to the upside. The overall trend is continuing to the downside. So we broke this channel down. One of the levels locally, I'm looking for a potential short. If we take a golden pocket from the high of that dump to the low this morning, you can see that our golden pocket is going to be coming in around the back test of that channel. So in this, we are going into the weekend. So if we see a slow grind up over the weekend to backtest that area, it could be a nice short where we do end up dropping, or we could backtest the point of control and not quite make it up to that golden pocket. That point of control is going to be coming in right around your 0.5 Fibonacci. So looking at, this general zone or up a little bit higher, 64.2, 64.3, but I am expecting continuation down here overall. We can also look at, now I'm going to delete this channel now because it's kind of been played out. We can look at the entire downtrend from $67,000. And we do have a descending channel that is being very nicely respected here. You can see rejection. So I took this channel, if you guys want to put this on your own chart, from the 67K highs to your secondary pivot lower highs down to that first initial low. And you can see we're pretty much coming down to the bottom of the channel after trying to break out, grabbing liquidity, rejecting from the value area high. You can see we also bounced at the midline, which was where that anchored VWAP was, and it didn't hold. And we're dumping down. We're seeing a little bit of a reaction from grabbing that liquidity. I will say this, we are back inside of our value area low. We're starting to get back inside of there. So I'm looking in this corrective move up for a back test of the value area low, and then one more move to the upside, whether that's just going to be to your POC or whether that's going to be up to that golden pocket. But we might be able to scalp this move to the bounce, a bullish back test of the value area low. We might be able to scalp this. Money flow doesn't look the best right now on the 1 hour. If we go in onto like the 15-minute chart, on the 15-minute chart, yeah, money flow starting to leave again, unfortunately. I'm not looking for too much of a rise here, but we are going into the weekend. We might see some slow, grindy price action upwards and sideways, I guess. Upwards or sideways. Let me go back to our hourly chart. And we also were looking at our buying exhaustion channel. Remember, we had this initial move up, very aggressive initial move up, and then we started to get that buying exhaustion channel in here. And so the second we started to break that buying exhaustion channel down, that was a big sign of weakness for Bitcoin. We did break it down earlier today. We're trying to get back into it now. So depending on how our daily candle closes, if we close our daily candle below the bottom of this channel, I am going to expect continuation down at least to around $61,000, where we have the last of our liquidity trail into our golden pocket. From there, hopefully, we get at least a nice day trade, scalp to day trade long position. But we have to be aware now that we have been building the same kind of structure. You can see in this move up in the exhaustion channel, all this grindy overlap move up. We're seeing that same kind of grindy overlap in a move down now. And yeah, we could get these turning into some 1-2s in here, where we have a bunch of 1-2s building. 1, 2, 1, 2. We're either going to get this continuation down strongly, and if it is a third wave, we might not see a reaction at $61,000. We might just keep dropping all the way through it, and we might be coming down to some lower levels. And then you would expect to see some 4 or 5s afterwards, where we would expect to take out our 57K lows, maybe coming down to $56,000 or even lower, guys. We could even come lower than that. But this is starting to look a little bit bearish for Bitcoin. The fact that this channel here, our ascending channel here is at risk of breaking down and losing this channel. All right, let me check the chat here. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Crypto Wander 5813, thank you for being here. Thank you for modding for me. It doesn't look for 1-2s. It doesn't look for 1-2s. Pure B, I think you mean it doesn't look good for 1-2s, maybe? Is that what you... It doesn't look good for 1-2s. Yeah, yeah. Well, in some ways it does, because when you're looking at a multiple 1-2 impulse, you want that primary 1, primary 2 to be longer in time and price, and then you get a secondary 1 and a secondary 2, and you're kind of creating this wedge-shaped pattern in here, and then you get that big push down, and then you get the grindiness at the bottom of it. But if you look at this primary 1 and primary 2, it is bigger in time and price. So if we just grab our path tool, let me find that, where I hardly ever use that path tool, so I don't know exactly where it's at. Well, let me get rid of that. There we go. All right, and if we look at right, and we just take this and look at the structure, I mean, it does look pretty nicely. Your primary 1, your primary 2 is bigger than your secondary 1 and your secondary 2, or similar in time and price. And then if this continues down, we would expect it to be a third wave. Now let's talk about more of a bullish scenario here. Descending channels as well as ascending channels. When you see a channel structure, it has about a 2/3 chance. Ascending channels have about a 2/3 chance to break to the downside, and descending channels have about a 2/3 chance to break to the upside. So if we're paying attention to our descending channel that we're in right now, we have not broken structure in it. These kind of channels generally are corrective looking, where if you turn on your volume, and if volume is decreasing as the channel is forming, it's more likely to be a corrective move. But you can see here, that's not the case here. We have big spikes in volume, followed by more big spikes in volume. I got to turn off this strong magnet. Weak magnet. All right, there we go. And it looks like, to me, massive increases in volume as we keep dropping here. I know that there was a bit of a scare today with the hardware wallet hack. I know that did cause some volatility in the markets, or was maybe a catalyst for this to happen. But it's not looking good, guys. It's just not looking good for the bulls right now. 4-hour time frame, money flow is crossed into the red, is heavily draining into the red. Same with on NAMI. If we go to our 8-hour chart here, on the 8-hour chart, money flow is still decreasing on Market Cipher pretty aggressively, but we are potentially forming bull divs on the 8-hour. Now, it's not confirmed yet. This momentum wave has not rolled over yet. We could be confirming some bull divs, and with NAMI, which is quicker to confirm, we actually do have some nice bull divs. We had local bull divs here, which gave us this push to the upside on the 8-hour. Now we're forming more regional bull divs here, which gave us this push to the upside. And if we form another bull div, we would have local and continued regional bull divs on the 8-hour. It could give us a push towards the top of that channel, which, by the way, if we just look at pulling our golden pocket from the highs of yesterday to today's lows, that golden pocket is going to be near the top of the channel. And it would also be the breakdown of that smaller hourly channel. Let's go to the 4-hour, and then I will just turn that on golden pocket only. You can see right there. So some confluence of positions if we do kind of come up here over the weekend for a rejection, and then we could get that big drop to the downside. And guys, there's really no limit to the amount of 1-2s that can build. I have seen structures build 4 or 5 1-2s, and then you get that big drop, and then you get your 4 5s that come in afterwards. The way that this is chopping down, though, on an increase in volume, kind of tells me that it's more likely to be 1-2s that are building rather than a corrective range that's going to break to the upside. Also, we have to keep in mind our money flow, right? Our money flow is bearish right now. Daily time frame, money flow is about to cross back into the red on Market Cipher. We had this nice bull div here on the daily time frame. Money flow bottomed out near our 57K lows. We got that big move up to 67K. It's starting to now, not only has our momentum wave rolled over, but it's starting, money flow starting to roll over as well. And if that money flow does cross into the red, that is when we could see on the daily time frame. So if we close today's candle with this big bearish engulfing candle, you can see another big bearish engulfing candle here. And if we close the daily candle with a bearish engulfing candle, this money flow is probably going to cut down into the red. All right, let me scroll back up into the chat, see what everyone's saying. User KO6er, I don't know how to say that name, but welcome in. Monty, welcome in as well. Thank you for the comment, man. Boondock say good afternoon to you as well. Eric, thank you for joining. I just want to get out of this range. Yeah, I understand that. So max pain, right? When it ranges like this, max pain, we have a couple different ranges that we're following. Obviously, our most important local range is this range. And then we even have kind of the bigger accumulation range that is forming. And I told you guys the past month that I'm looking at some sort of smaller accumulation in here, like a daily time frame accumulation, tap 1, tap 2. Maybe we're going to get another lower low for a tap 3 and use a model 1 accumulation where then hopefully we could break out, start coming up into the mid 70s or high 70s. And then we would be looking at a few more months passing where we're going to see another bit of a drop in here. And it would give us that larger accumulation, with this being a tap 1, all of this little range being a tap 2, and this being our tap 3. And of course, if you look, that is in October around that time frame, and it does look pretty nice as far as symmetry goes. So yeah, we could be seeing the range last a lot longer. But ranges, we know that assets range a majority of the time, right? They range about 70% of the time. They trend about 30% of the time. So learning how to trade ranges is really important. All right. Quiles, thank you for being here. What's up to you, man? Mr. Robertith, hello. All right. And Mr. Ekechan, welcome in. What's up, Ryan? Still holding that sweet ETH short. Awesome. You are holding that ETH short. So actually, did ETH end up... It did end up rejecting that golden pocket, guys. Reject that golden pocket, you get the move down. You still, like, okay, for ETH locally, you have broken market structure now by taking out that low from Tuesday. You did SFP Tuesday's lows. We might be able to look towards the bottom of the channel. And actually what we can do is we can pull that trend-based Fibonacci extinction. Yeah, right around the 1-to-1, which would be near the bottom of the channel. And maybe coming down to that 1.236. So these boxes are not going to really be relevant anymore because we did make that new high. We can check ETH out more later. We'll check out some support levels to see if we have any support, like naked dailies, anything in this zone down here. But we might be grabbing liquidity because we kind of have the sideways range up here. And we can also pull the volume profile of that sideways range. We can look at the value area low, which is where we're at right now. So if you start to reject from this VWAP after taking this liquidity, you start to lose. And especially if you close your daily candle below the value area low, you're likely to come grab this low down here around 1800. But nice short, Mr. Ekechan. Nice short. All right. So you guys were just talking amongst each other. All right. Yeah, thank you, Crypto Wander. I'm glad that you like being the mod, so thank you. 65 watchers, only 22 likes. Come on, guys, let's get it up to, let's see if we can get up to 40 likes before the live stream ends, or maybe even higher. I think this was the main reason why we saw this dump just in the 30-year bond yield reaches highest level since 2007. Wow. Man, the economy's in shambles right now, guys. And like the crazy thing is the stock market is still not too high or not too far off all-time highs. Just imagine if the actual traditional markets really start to crash here, we could see crypto take some pretty big nosedives. And that is when Bitcoin might drop to the 30s. Any open position? Mr. Roberto, I'm still in the long from 58,200. Actually, it's not. The original entry was at 58,200. I have since added to that trade. Why I'm on ETH? Hold on. I have since added to that trade. And my average position is around $60,000. It was right under the golden pocket. So if we pull the golden pocket here. Yeah, here. And then after the correction is done, you are expecting an impulse to the downside to take out the lows. And so the way it looks right now with the structure that's building, we would have to say right now this looks like a multiple 1-2 impulse. And then you would want this either to continue down now, or if we get another push up, you'd want it to continue down quickly after that. You keep building those 1-2s, and then you see the big dump to the downside. If we break this descending channel, though, and I know it would be breaking above our local golden pocket, I would expect to sweep all of this. And I would expect to come up to grab our 67.3K highs. The big thing to look at more locally is obviously we had the buying exhaustion channel in here, and now we're seeing another channel in here. They're forming a range, and that range is important. So if you take it from the beginning of that range, you can see that we're holding on by a thread. But the fact that we lost the value area low, hold on, let me turn off this guy. So the fact that we fell back inside the volume profile, we bounced from the point of control, but we back tested the value area high. We rejected. We came down to the value area low. We bounced, but coming up to the value area high again and seeing another rejection from the value area high, it's more likely this time that the value area low doesn't hold and that we do see a true breakdown of this range, of this volume profile. And so that would mean that if you break down the value area low, you're likely to come take out the range lows, and that is our $61,000 area. This is 61,250, and it's right into your golden pocket down there. Sudeep, welcome in. Thank you for being here, and thank you for modding as well. Seargerm, we will check it near. We can check some of the altcoins in just a bit here. I want to add to my short on top of that channel. Yeah, so that short position, you just pull your local golden pocket. It's going to be around 64.3 to 64.2. And your point of control is just a little bit below that, pretty much at $64,000. So you might not quite make it up to the golden pocket, or you might see something like on the hourly chart where you get that wick past the point of control to hit the golden pocket, but the hourly candle closes at or below the point of control, and then you roll over. But I'm going to be looking for shorts too as well, cautiously, because we've already seen some drops in here. We're not really seeing too many bull divs. Like, we had bull divs, right? We had some bull divs on the 4 hour, but that played out with this last couple of days of a move to the upside. In some ways, those bull divs have already played out because your momentum wave is topped out there. So now what we would want to see in the case of the bulls is you would want to see this roll over earlier. You'd want to make a new drive of bull divs, and then hopefully this regional drive stays intact. But the money flow is important, guys. I say this a lot on my channel, but a single drive or even a double drive of bull divs, if you have very bearish money flow, the money flow generally will win out. So you want that money flow to be bottoming out and even starting to curve to the upside on Market Cipher. And then with NAMI, because it's quicker, generally you'll see the bull divs that were here play out, and then you start to form a new set of multiple drives of bull div, and the money flow is usually crossing up into the green and already up in the green by the time Market Cipher is starting to roll over. All right. Okay, I see you guys are just kind of talking amongst yourself here. Ready for the Z crash analysis? Yeah, we'll cover Z cash as well. If you get time, can you check Coma? Yep, we'll check Coma. We'll check Hyperliquid. We'll check Zcash. We'll check Near. Cut along at 25. Okay, yep, we'll check all this. TradFi is crashing, and yes, we will hit 26.5K. You know, Dylan, I'm starting to think the TradFi crash is coming more and more. Now, we do have some real developments going on, right? AI, yes, you could say it's a bubble, but there is real development in AI, and AI does have the potential to really change things in the economy, really globally. I was listening to Elon Musk in an interview, and he was talking about by 2035, I think he said 2035, 2036, in 10 years, the money will be worthless in some cases, because he said that we're going to be producing so much goods and services that there's going to be such an abundance of goods and services that, you know, it's a ratio of goods and services against it's, you know, supply and demand ratio type of thing. So he thinks there's going to be massive deflation by the year 2035, and that we won't really use money in the same way. And he said the government will just, you know, kind of print it up or type it up and issue it as kind of like maybe a potential universal basic income. Who knows how bad that is, but when some of the smartest people in the world are expecting this AI boom to fundamentally change the way society works and the way our economy works, we're in an interesting time. Let's just say that we're really in an interesting time. Snood, welcome in. It seems that everyone is eyeing 61K, value area low, golden pocket. I think we slice right through it. Snood, that is something that I am actually watching for. That is something I'm watching for very, very carefully, because if we are building these 1-2s in here and this third wave is going to come, your third wave is generally much longer in time and price, right? Or not time really, but price. And yes, we could slice down. Actually, one of the things that I'm looking for is if we're building these 1-2s here, our third wave could slice us all the way down to take our 57K lows. And then we could get a fourth wave corrective move and then a drop to $56,000. And it would finish kind of this impulse. Or maybe like, something like that, where you get kind of a double bottom around 56, or you drop to 52. Let's pull the volume profile of our 2-month long range, and we can look at some of the volume levels within that 2-month long range here. We do have the value area low coming in just a bit. Actually, now it's increased, to pretty much that golden pocket area. I mean, technically it is a good level as far as your confluence, right? A support level as far as confluence, because you would sweep all that we definitely need to be watching out for. Uniswap short, Uniswap yesterday short is nice. Yeah, so Flo, Aaron, we talked about on Uniswap. We talked about that scalp long because we were breaking above the 1-to-1. And if we go in on the 15-minute here, we were talking about this little corrective move here in the long from in this zone with the stop right below that. And that actually did end up playing out. And you came up and I said, and I even posted in the Telegram when we were hitting this, the longs playing out, I would take profit completely here. And sure enough, you do get the SFP, or it's more of a double top, not an SFP, but you did actually hit that level. And then now we're dropping. So it did play out pretty nicely. Now, remember, we do have some, if we're looking kind of at the bottom of this move in here, you do have some 1-2s that built up 1-2, 1-2, and then you have this big third wave. So this could be all of the third wave, and then we could still be seeing 4s and 5s and 4s and 5s to continue up a little bit higher. Maybe it's going to continue up to that daily level up there, or, we're kind of in the big zone. And I know this is a huge box of resistance here, but the important levels within this box were really the liquidity level, and then this smaller with the daily and the 1.236 up here. On the daily time frame, because this first initial move up right here, it's very hard to count a complete impulse in there, because it does look like a 3-wave corrective move, right? And I know your C wave is a pretty harsh impulse, but C waves do end on a high amount of volume, and they generally tend to be pretty aggressive sometimes. So if we're looking at this as an ABC, then you get your 3-wave corrective move. That's the W, that's the X, and then we would be looking at some sort of 3-wave corrective move here for a Y. It could be done, and you could be about to roll over and see a big drop to the downside where you would expect to take out the origin of that corrective move. That's the bearish scenario. Now, we do have a bullish scenario as well, because we changed market structure bullishly by taking out, this lower high, by taking out this lower high. We have changed market structure bullishly. So in a more bullish scenario on the daily time frame, we could see a drop down to your golden pocket value area low, and then you could continue up here. And even locally, within this, from what day was that? July 20th, this impulse might not be done yet. This little leg up might not be done yet. I'm still short on hype from 55.20, up about $230. Awesome, crypto cowpoke. Good on you, man. Just make sure you're locking in some profits. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice, but if you're up in a trade, just make sure you're locking in some profits. You'll never go broke locking in profits. And then make sure to protect your position after locking in those profits, which means moving your stop loss to break even, or I guess you could even put it a little bit in profit if you wanted to make sure you guarantee something. Okay, Dylan, you said also there's a good chance we bottom in February instead, as BTC has made an inverse 60-day cycle low on the 4th out of 4 60-day cycles. Interesting. Okay, so another 4 months, another 3 months in there. Not quicker. What's up, man? Mista, help me out. Get this bearish price action off me. Unfortunately, man, we just got to look at the technicals, right? And the technicals are a bit bearish. And even looking at the candle today, if we see another big bearish engulfing candle, you're likely to continue down here. We're also breaking some of that market structure, right? And we created such a strong liquidity trail. Such a strong level of liquidity, trail of liquidity with all these higher lows. And it's likely that we are now, well, we're already starting to sweep them, but it's likely that we sweep it all. If we remember on our liquidation heat map, zooming out, you can see that we have liquidity pretty much coming down into that $60,000, you know, 60,600, 60,500. It's going to sweep all of this liquidity. So major levels below this low here, and then these two are very close together. It's going to sweep them all together probably. And that's when we might see a move. Now, if we go onto some of the lower time frames and we look at like the past week of price action, we also do have some liquidity above $65,000 or 65.7. Interesting. Why is it not showing it anymore? Yeah, so you see that liquidity coming up to around $66,000, but that is going to be above that, those internal highs right up in here. Now, if we look at our new golden pocket, because we made new lows today, so we now have to re-pull our golden pocket. If we pull our golden pocket from the highs at 67 down to our new lows, it is, our golden pocket is now a little bit below that zone of liquidity. So I would be looking also at the 786 as well, because the 786 comes up to around $66,000. And that is where that liquidity ends. You can see that liquidity ends pretty much right at $66,000. So I would not be paying as much attention to the golden pocket as to that 786, because the golden pocket would not grab this liquidity. And liquidity is one of the most important things, right? Let me just look at this corrective channel. We can pull the volume profile. All right. Yeah, so your value area high is going to be on that golden pocket, though. But look at, lost the value area low. Even in the next couple hours, if we come up and we backtest the VWAP and the value area low, if it rejects, you're going to expect new local lows. So like this is lower time frame. Let me just zoom in here, 15-minute chart. If we come up, we backtest this and we reject, you expect to take out this local low from earlier today. Quite unfortunate there. I just want to put on that whole range real quick. All right. Let's watch this back test, guys, because if we do get this back test right here coming up, and I would want to see some low time frame bull divs, you'd have to look on like the 5-minute and under for those bull divs. But as we're grinding down to this value area low, we might be able to take a scalp. And this would have to be something very quick. You would want to see it bounce. You would want to get in pretty much right away. Your stop would go below that low. And then just to be targeting those highs as a TP1 is a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. But I would probably look to target up near that POC or at least the VWAP, right? Even if we're just targeting the VWAP, that's still a nice little scalp if we get the bounce, right? If it slices through, if it starts to chop here, we have to be patient and wait for that. And actually, let me do this. Let's pull our wave 4 targets here. So wait for targets. All right, yeah. So coming down in maybe even hitting that 0.5. If we hit the 0.5 and then get back above the value area low, because we could be looking and at a little impulse, right? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be your A wave. Then you could get a pullback, and then you get another 5-wave move, and that would bring you up towards your POC or towards that golden pocket around 64.2, 64.3. But it would be essentially a corrective move still before continuing down. Alex, welcome in, my friend. Glad to see you made it in time. No long for me until 61.250. Yeah. As far as like the real bigger trades go, I agree with that, Peoria Beat. But like I said, we're probably going to have some scalp opportunities, and we have to kind of shift into a scalp mentality right now anyways, with the way that price action has been going and rangy kind of ebbs and flows here. 61.250 is definitely like the best confluence of support for that long position. But like Snood was saying, a lot of people are eyeing that, and we might see the drop straight through it. So I would personally want to see if we come down there, the bounce, and then as soon as we recover that 61.250 all long, and that would be, you know, the kind of the SFP, your stop would go below wherever that low is. And then in that case, I would really only be targeting the value area low of this upper range. Or we can pull targets, right? You would pull your target from the highs to the lows, and you would be looking between that 382 and that 0.5. That's all theoretical right now because we haven't come down there. No, welcome in as well. Stream cut out. Guys, are we having issues with the stream at all? Let me know. It looks like it's good on my end as far as my software telling me. We are forming lower lows, but what happens if we reclaim the VWAP and the POC? Well, the VWAP is much lower than the POC, okay? So if we reclaim the VWAP, we're likely to head up to the POC. If we reclaim the VWAP, we're likely to head up to that POC. But I'm really going to be watching for a rejection of the POC now. It's not being highly respected, but earlier today, low time frame, we did lose it and we backtested it and rejected. And so that is a sign that you could see continuation down, right? Even if we come up again, you could see continuation down. And now it's flipping into valid resistance. If we hit 40K, I'm selling the crib. All right, so I do see some people saying stream is lagging. Okay. Good now. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Will you let me know if it does cut out again? I don't know what is going on, but my computer was acting weird yesterday as well, a little bit after the stream. If we are still bullish on BTC for a bit more relief, it's got to happen fast because mid-August time, it's not on BTC's side. Yeah, August does tend to be a kind of bearish month for Bitcoin. But I would suspect that if the bulls are going to step in, they really have to step in. At the very least, they have to step in at 61,250 or around 61K. Thank you, RPing, for that. So, guys, really quickly here, I do want to take a second to shout out the partners of the channel. The main partner of the channel is BYDFI. See, I don't know why it's doing that. It just flickered on me again. This is a VPN and a KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. If you do sign up using my affiliate link in the description below, you can get a minimum of 20% discounts on your trading fees, and you can earn up to 40% discounts if you deposit some large amounts into the exchange. They're offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses. So this is dependent on the amount of volume you trade within those futures USDT markets, but it's not only for Bitcoin, it's for the altcoins as well. So if you're already trading on USDT derivative platform, this is a real nice extra incentive to earn extra cash money to your portfolio there. They're also offering some of the best initial deposit bonuses in the entire industry. If you deposit $100, you can get a 50% deposit bonus, a $50 bonus there, which is over double what most exchanges give you on a $100 deposit. And then they're offering 10% deposit bonuses up to $1,000 deposit, and they're offering 20% deposit bonuses up to $1,000 deposit, and 10% deposit bonuses up to a $20,000 deposit. So some really good initial sign-up bonuses there. You do need to KYC level 1 in order to get those sign-up bonuses, but they are available. I've also partnered with BYDFI to create that Telegram community. In that community, I try to post the updates on Bitcoin throughout the day. I try to let you guys know what I'm thinking there. Also, we do set a lot alerts on a lot of these altcoin trade setups that we look at during the stream. And I will let you guys know, like, for instance, Uniswap, I let you guys know as soon as it was hitting that high, it would be a good TP level. Of course, that's not financial advice. It's just how I'm trading that. That's my perspective on it. But the Telegram is free to get into. It's a private community. It's free. All you have to do is join BYDFI using my affiliate link in the description below, and then deposit a minimum deposit of $100 or more. You can deposit more if you want to get some of those bigger bonuses. But once you've made the minimum deposit, click the Telegram link, RP posted in the chat, or it's in the description of the video. And in that Telegram verify channel, type in /verify and then your user ID, and that'll get you into the Telegram. I have 3 other exchanges, Blowfin, MEXC, and Bybit. Links are in the description to sign up for those. They're all offering some discounts and some initial deposit bonuses. And then lastly, I have NAMI Trading, which is this bottom indicator down here. It's also got other indicators as well that you can add with it. You know, this is pretty much this bottom indicator just overlaid on the price action, but it will show you the bear and the bull divs. And then it's got one where it will show you NAMI SMC Pro. It'll show you breaker blocks, fair value gaps, things like that. All of this, I use NAMI for confirmations to enter and exit trades. So as we're coming down, say we're coming down to 61,250, if we're seeing some nice bull divs being made on the chart, it'll give me that confirmation to enter a trade there. And since I've been using NAMI for confirmations, my profit margins have increased quite a bit. And in my opinion, it ends up paying for itself in time, just like any good tool that an expert uses in their field. So if you're interested, I have partnered with NAMI to get you guys 50% off. Just use the affiliate link in the description. And when you're checking out on the website, use discount code DIVINE50 and you can get 50% off. That is only for the lifetime subscription. Now, if you want to use the monthly subscription, Divine25, you can try that first month and use discount code Divine25, and you should be able to get 25% off that. All right, let's see. Solar flares, yeah, probably some solar flares going on right now. My altcoin portfolio went from 40K to 14K in 2 years. Well, altcoins never really had that bull rally like a lot of people wanted, and I was very strong in my bias that we were not going to see an altcoin season like a lot of people were predicting. I was really, really strong in my bias there. And we didn't. And now we're in the bear market. Trump crypto president. Yeah, no joke, right? What a joke that was. What did he say? Within 90 days, we were going to have a Bitcoin reserve. Like, come on, guys. No one should believe that anything. And I'm not like very political, but no one should believe anything the politicians say. You know, a lot of them, it's empty campaign promises, right? And we see it with both sides of the aisle. We see it all the time. And not only with presidents, we see it with governors, we see it with Congress people, we see it, you know, everywhere. Thank you for all the amazing insights and analysis of the markets. Yeah, Tom Select, thank you for the comment, man. I appreciate that. And welcome in, Tom. Welcome in, Theo Bree side. I'm just looking at this little scalp here. Maybe we can get something. And we'll cover some of the altcoins as well, guys. I just want to take a few minutes here to see if we get that little scalp trade. Because I do have to say, this looks a bit like a third wave here. Now, your second wave did come relatively deep. So if this is a 1 and this is a 2, it didn't take out the low, but it did come extremely deep for a second wave. So maybe it's going to be an ABC here, an ABC. And if we lose the value area low, I would definitely expect to break down and continue to new lows. Another thing to look at here is your volume is decreasing on this move to the upside, which means it's more likely to be a corrective move. So this could be an ABC, and then you're about to dump. What we can do is we'll go in on like the 5 minute, the 3 minute, and the 1 minute. And as we're coming into this little box of support, so this is a very low time frame scalp, guys. This is, you should play this nothing more than a scalp, but you'd want to be coming into this little support level here. And then if we hit the 0.5 and then get back above the value area low, that's when we can look at taking a scalp long. And honestly, I would be very cautious, protect position as fast as you could. But as soon as you break that high from earlier, you could look at taking some profit and then maybe taking some more profit at the VWAP. But we might get a move up. We might get a bigger move up towards the POC or even towards that golden pocket. One thing I do want to discuss is we did front run that descending channel that I just showed you earlier in the stream. So if we zoom out to the hourly again, and we look at that descending channel, this guy right in here, we did front run touching the bottom of it. So if we break our local value area low, this little green box of support just below us, I would suspect that we're going to continue down to hit the bottom of the channel. And then we might get the bigger move up towards your golden pocket. Let's see. Yeah, the majority of our volume traded today is down near this low. That's also not a good thing, guys, for the bulls. What would you say is most important, CVD divergence on RSI or money flow? Well, so CVD divergence, the order flow, and we'll check that right now, actually. CVD divergence is good to look for local moves, right? Like, or continuation of a trend, because what you're looking for in CVD divergences is if, let's say you're in a downtrend and you're seeing bearish CVD divergences, that means that the whales are absorbing, or the bears are absorbing market longs, and that means it's far more likely that you are going to see that continuation of the downtrend. So in trending moves, CVD divergences are really important to look at to see whether that trend is going to continue, is likely to continue. As far as bigger like reversals and price action, looking at the money flow along with the momentum divergences and even money flow divergences, looking at those, money, you got the bull dibs in here, and then you get that big move up, right? I would say for a reversal in trend, it's better to look at bullish divergences or bearish divergences along with the money flow. But if you're looking at if the trend is going to continue, you're looking at the CVD divergences. And what are we seeing right now on order flow? Well, we had the big dump this morning. You can see this big dump here. It was brand new short positions coming in. Look at this. So all of this dump here, almost all of it. So I guess towards the top, we had some longs coming in this range yesterday. This is where, guys, it's crazy that people will long after a big pump throughout the day. They'll long in here. Now I get they're expecting continuation. They're probably expecting to continue up to 65K, but let's just break this down real quick, because inside of this range, which is where we were at yesterday during the stream, we were looking at kind of a little triangle in here. After the stream ended a couple hours later, we broke up to hit the value area high of the range and grab that internal liquidity. But you can see at the end of this range, let's just go like, yeah, from the beginning of the range, all of this, you can see in this price action, you were getting shorts coming in, right? And it was relatively flat, so it wasn't really new short positions. It was a mixture of some longs closing out and some shorts opening up. But right after that, right when we started to hit the highs in here, you could see that we were seeing long positions step in right into those highs, probably causing those highs. And yes, it was some new long positions that were stepping in just in that last, kind of 30 minutes of this range, this little range. New long positions were stepping in. That means that they're trapped near the highs of this little range. And then afterwards, even even a little bit afterwards, after this dump happened, in this little range here, you see long positions stepping in, and it was fresh long positions, right? Open interest is increasing overall, and your CVD is increasing. So you're seeing market longs come in, and those are fresh market long positions. So now we have some longs trapped up here, and then we now have some longs trapped in this zone here, and then we just get right at the highs of this little range, we get a bunch of shorts enter. And those were brand new shorts. Look at the massive increase in open interest here. So we saw the bears stepping in control. So we've seen a mixture of longs trapped at the highs of this little mini range in here, and then shorts coming in, fresh shorts coming in, successfully pushing the price down. The bears are absolutely in control right now. The bears are absolutely in control. There's nothing to say that it's not, it's the bulls are helpless unless we can start to break some of those shorts. Now, we can say this because we do have a bunch of shorts, and yeah, specifically in this last dump here, you saw a pretty big increase in open interest, and it was short positions coming in. So we have some shorts trapped in the last little leg here down here. That was probably a little bit due to the news that happened, the hack that happened. If the bulls can start to break above those highs, so pretty much break above the VWAP, then we could see that short squeeze up towards the POC, because you would be trapping some shorts. You would be either stopping them out or forcing them to close, maybe being liquidated if it's high leverage. But the bulls pretty much need to flip the VWAP, or else they're in trouble. They're in significant trouble. Now, we're not really seeing any divergences right now. Let me go to the 5-minute chart so we can get a better look at this. Where'd you go? Yeah, we're not really seeing any bearish divergences, bearish CVD divergences. In bearish CVD divergences, you want to be making lower highs in the price action, and you want to be making higher highs in the CVD. So we need our CVD to get above this high here in order to see bearish CVD divergences. And then, of course, you would want your open interest increasing during that time, and that would make it bearish absorption. So we're not seeing bearish CVD divergence or absorption right now, but we're also not seeing bullish CVD absorption, because in order to see bullish CVD absorption, you'd want to go from the lows. You want to be making higher lows in the price action, which currently, yes, we are right now, but you want to be making lower lows in the CVD, and we're not making lower lows in the CVD. So it's really a neutral. As far as our order flow goes right now, it's neutral. I do like the way this is kind of chopping down here, though. If we can get that chop into that, maybe we can see a move up towards that VWAP. Hype to 48. Well, hype is breaking that 52, I believe. Yeah, we're in the zone of support. So we didn't see the SFP. We didn't see a clean SFP. And yesterday we had front run that SFP, and that was a bad sign, because when you front run a liquidity grab and you see a small move up, you're more likely to break through it the next time. But we still are in our zone of support. You know, it's at the bottom of the range. It's within our bigger golden pocket, and you have your 1.236 at 51.9. You are seeing some slight bull divs here. Well, that's only 5 minutes, though. Let's go to the hour. Man, guys, money flow just looks bad on both of them. You know, no bull divs on the 1 hour chart. Four-hour has potential for bull divs, not confirmed yet, but money flow is really bad. So even if you did have bull divs here, that money flow is probably going to overpower those bull divs. And then you've invalidated all of these bull divs that we're forming. All of these bull divs pretty much caused this little move up, and now we're impulsing down. You can see it's just corrective moves up followed by impulsive moves down. So the bears are in control all across the board. Well, we could come down to 44, guys. We really could. Now, 46 is we're probably going to see a stop at 46, because if we're looking on higher time frames and we're looking at an impulsive move down, then we'd be looking at like a 1, 2, and then your third wave is probably going to bring you all the way to that 1.618. You might get a move back up to backtest, even the value area low, which would be around your 0.5 Fibonacci, and then you get that move down to 44, and it would finish this overall impulse move to the downside. Of course, if you start with an impulsive move to the downside, even after this impulse ends, you're going to be looking for a larger corrective move up, followed by more downside. So it's just kind of scary right now for the bulls. Yes, Amanda, I do use high and low volume nodes as well. Yep, Solana. All right, let me check Bitcoin real quick to see if that scalp is going to play out, and then we'll go into some of these altcoins. Maybe what I'll do here is I will set an alert on that 0.5 fib, and then we can look at some of the altcoins, because we're going to want to analyze whether that happens. And let me pull that volume profile one more time. I'm pulling the volume profile of all the price action within this channel, within this descending channel. Okay, well, if we include where it enters the channel, okay, this is the different range that I was talking about. I'm talking about the whole sideways range, that value area low. But you saw that if with the smaller descending channel range, it was pretty much your value area low was at the VWAP. So we have to be very, very careful for if we do this, an A, a B, and a C right there and reject from the VWAP, you could continue down. That's why if we do take a long from this little 62,809, we have to make sure we're taking some profit at the VWAP. It could just be an intraday correction before continuation of the downtrend. And honestly, I don't even like taking trades like that, but we can see if it works out, because that Uniswap trade played out really nicely yesterday with a 6.3 to 1 risk to reward ratio. Okay, but we'll go into some of the altcoins. So let's go into Near really quickly. And guys, I'm going to go through these quickly. We went through a lot of them yesterday as well, so there's probably not a whole lot to update on. We're in the zone for a for a rollover here on Near protocol, but we're looking at this larger third wave in here. And if we're inside this larger third wave, we have the 1, 2, 1, 2. We have our big 3 here. We're looking for 4 5s, 4 5s to finish the third wave and probably come down to around 150. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Let me pull this to here. No, I had it right. Okay. Those are our 1 2s within the third wave. So this is the internal third wave within your larger third wave. So you're right in that zone where you would want to reject. 171, 167.9. It looks like you did get the SFP of yesterday's highs. Kind of that intraday SFP. You pretty much have a double bottom here. I don't like that. Because if we're looking at an ABC, you want to see an impulse here, followed by a correction, followed by another impulse. And we have a double bottom here. Yeah, an exact double bottom. That's not good for seeing this as an impulse to the upside. We do have a fresh new daily level below us as well, but I wouldn't be paying too much attention at 160, 161.9, 162 pretty much. Not pretty much exactly. The big thing with Near Protocol, we're looking for kind of a move down. We had this range up here that broke down, right? We had a sideways range up here that broke down, and it broke down. You got the back test of the value area low, and when you rejected, that's when you got this big volume imbalance candle in here. So it's the market confirming a breakdown of this range. And now that the market is starting to break down that range, you can look, you're looking to continue until you get to some more macro support. And we have the naked daily and a weekly at 150, as well as a 1-to-1 trend-based Fibonacci extinction there. And then I would just expect those small ebbs and flows to be corrective ebbs and flows, just like this here. This is likely to be that before rolling back over as well. No bull divs on the 8-hour, but money flow is starting to curve up. Let's see here. Is it? Yeah, it's continuing to curve up here. For me, there's nothing really actionable right now on Near Protocol as far as trades go. Once we hit 150, I would be looking potentially for a scalp long off 150. But we want to see kind of this, if we have this being a 1-2, 1-2, this is your third wave. Now we're looking for a rejection within this zone between the 382 and the 0.5, a new low, and then another corrective move, and then another new low to finish your 4-5s. But overall, even after that, that would end this third wave in here. Then you would be looking for a bigger fourth wave correction before seeing potentially a fifth wave down to 138. And around 138 to 132 is where the real long opportunity comes in, where you can see a much bigger move back up. But until then, I'm not really interested in anything on Near Protocol. You're in the zone for the short. You can see that we're even on the 8-hour time frame. You're seeing wickage past the 382, and you did grab liquidity from yesterday's high. Maybe we're going to make it up to the 0.5, but I'm not really interested in taking a short from there. It's up to you guys, right? It's up to you. You guys do your own thing. If you're scalping this, you can scalp that. Let's see. Yeah, another thing here is you have this small hour-long range, like an intraday range or a daily range. You're breaking above the value area high. Now you're starting to fall back inside with the SFP here. So are you going to see a move down? Now the value area low is where your daily level's at. That's a fresh daily level. And what you might see is something like this, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or like a smaller 5-wave impulse, right? And then you'd get that other fourth wave correction and then another 5-wave impulse to 150. And those would be your 4-5s, right? 4, 5, 4, 5s, something like that. Let's see. As far as hype goes, we are now hitting that zone of support. We talked about this yesterday, but it was a golden pocket from the low here to the high up here. We had front run the golden pocket, and now we're finally coming down. We're hitting the liquidity of the bottom of the range because this was an upper range that we were playing in, and we're still somewhat in, right? Once you break the value area low of that range and you start to close daily candles below the value area low, you're looking to grab the liquidity of the range low. So we're finally coming down today and grabbing that liquidity, taking that liquidity out. Now, the dangerous thing is we're not seeing a SFP, right? We're continuing down. No SFP here, not 4 hour, not 1 hour. But on the daily time frame, if we do close the daily candle above 52.58, you might be able to see a bigger move to the upside. If it closes below 52.58, you're likely to continue down. And the big scary thing for Near Protocol is, look at within this zone in here, there is nothing keeping you except maybe a small bounce here at the 1.618 before ultimately coming down to the $44 zone. So we have to see how the daily candle closes today, right? You are in your golden pocket zone of support. You are hitting that 1.236. Actually, as we speak, we're coming down to hit that 1.236. It's not giving us the reaction we want. That's a big daily bearish engulfing candle there. So it's not what you want to see. We do actually have some bull divs potentially on NAMI. You see the one drive here, another drive here, and if this bottoms out, you will see another drive. So it could be pretty nice as far as if this support zone holds with multiple drives of daily bull div, you might be able to get a decent move to the upside, at least to backtest your value area low. But as of right now, we are not seeing any signs of a bounce. So you have to be patient and wait. I would zoom in onto the hourly chart, and if you start to see some sort of consolidation within this green box, then you can start to look to take action. But right now, we don't even have confirmations. No bull divs on the 1 hour. Money flow leaving on the 1 hour. Let's go to the 2 hour. Potential for bull divs, but not confirmed on Market Cipher. And no bull divs on NAMI. Money flow draining out again. Money flow draining out on Market Cipher as well. It is just not looking good. We have no confirmation to enter. Even though we're in our support zone, we have no confirmation to enter. You do have potentials for 4 hour bull divs, not confirmed yet, but money flow is bearish. No bull divs on NAMI. Money flow is relatively bearish. 8 hour time frame is really important to look at money flow, and look at your money flow leaving again on Market Cipher here. No bull divs, some potential maybe, and also some potential on Market Cipher, but unconfirmed, and money flow is bearish. So for me personally, we're in our support zone, but I have no actionable technical analysis to take a long trade from here. None. And with your daily being a bearish engulfing candle, money flow bearish, I would want to see some consolidation in this zone, and then I would take action on the daily bull divs here. But until we do, I am not entering a long position. All right, Solana. And we'll look at ZEC too. I forgot about that. We'll look at ZEC. Oh, real quickly too, on Near Protocol, we're losing our pitchfork midline that was acting as support. So you can see it was acting as support in here. We lost it, and we're coming up to bearishly backtest it. So we might bearishly backtest and then see a move down to that one. And is that a fresh naked monthly? Okay, so we have a naked monthly at 155.6. I actually do have an alert set on that. That could be our second, because we're looking at, remember, within this drop, a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We could get a 4, 5, 4, 5, and come down to that 150 zone. Because at 150, we have a naked daily point of control, and we have a weekly level at 150. So at 155 could be our second stop for that first fifth wave down. And you might be able to take a scalp off that, because naked monthly points of controls are pretty strong. Let's see if it's on the Coinbase chart as well. It's not on the Coinbase chart. Interesting. Well, Coinbase is the chart that I like to follow the most for volume levels. So just be aware that on Bybit, you have on Binance, you have a naked monthly at 155.6 from this range in here. But on Coinbase, you do not. Okay, Solana. And I know this chart is messy, guys, so excuse that. We can clean this up a little bit now. Actually, we'll cancel that. We'll hide that. Solana saw an initial move down, pretty aggressive move down, and then we were starting to range sideways in here. And we kept bouncing from the point of control of our range. You can see today is the first day that we might lose and close a daily candle below the point of control. Because look at hit wick below it, but no close. Wick below it, but no close. Oh, hold on. Is Bitcoin's pumping? All right, let me see here. Is it pumping or is it? I don't know about pumping. I'm still looking. I see this, guys. I see you are around the 382. You're in your zone, right, for a wave 4 bounce. But I would want to see this kind of roll over one more time and come down, and then we could get that little move up. Yeah, let's see if we can. But this is kind of nice that it's seeing this so we can create some bull divs, right? You want to make some time in here so we can create some bull divs. And we do have some nice 1 minute bull divs forming with money flow starting to come up. Bull divs forming, money flow bull divs. So let's see if we can't get one more little drop to hit that 0.5 Fibonacci. Overall, guys, with the money flow looking the way it is, though, it's going to be a scalp. Like maybe to VWAP, you know, maybe just to take out your local highs from a few hours ago. So Solana, it's the first time on the daily time frame that we're starting to close a daily candle below the POC. You can see a bounce, a bounce, a bounce. Okay, I guess you closed here, but you were able to reclaim it. It is starting to see weakness now, and we're starting to actually lose that POC. If this daily candle closes below, we're going to see a drop. This daily's been tapped. Let's see if we have any weeklies in there. Yeah, there's that weekly in there at 71.28. We have a weekly level. And we do have some internal liquidity into that weekly level. Let's see if we have any naked dailies or naked weeklies down there. No naked weeklies. Honestly, guys, with that weekly level, you might see a bounce to backtest the POC. Something like if you continue down, especially if you close the daily candle below the POC today, you're probably going to continue down to this weekly, but then you're likely just to see a corrective move to backtest that before continuing down to your real support, which is a naked weekly and your golden pocket. Money flow is looking pretty bearish on the 4 hour, but it is starting to develop some nice bull divs in here. Starting to. All right, and what we would look at is we would look at a 5-wave move down, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're ending your A wave here. This is a running flat, A, B, C, and then we'd be looking at another impulse here to the downside. So from this high, a 1, 2, and you would have to say 1, 2 because there's overlap. Or you would have to look at this as a contracting diagonal to finish it. So from this high at 78 here, 78.6-ish, 78.8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a contracting diagonal where you might end at the weekly and see a move up, or it's going to be a double 1, 2 impulse, which is more probable. If you're looking at Elliott wave probabilities, a double 1, 2 impulse is more common than a contracting diagonal. We would have to look at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and this is likely to continue down. And maybe we start seeing some 4 or 5s coming into your golden pocket or even into your value area low. Let's pull our trend-based Fibonacci extinction here. Right. Yeah, between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. So you kind of have some nice confluence in there, especially that 1.236 at the value area low. I would pay attention to that 67.5, 67.4 zone. But before that, we do have the golden pocket. Overall, guys, this is likely to be a corrective move. It started up with a 3-wave move. And that is the challenge here. You can see that this, just like Ethereum, was a 3-wave move to start from the overall low. So you have a 3-wave move here, you have a 3-wave move here, and then you would have to look at this as some sort of 3-wave move in here. And I know that's not the best looking, but that's overall, because the start of this move up is a 3-wave corrective move, you're likely to continue down to eventually take out this low at $60. Now, could you see something like this range continue for a bit and maybe even make a double top before coming down there? You could. You really want to hold the value area low of the range. And so if you pull that volume profile of this whole corrective price action, you're going to want to hold that value area low. Yep, that's the puppy. Can you guys hear her? She's wild. Husky. Okay, let me see. Take a look at BTC. Okay, let's go to BTC. Yeah, we're starting to look like we want to roll up here. Now, the 382, we might actually bounce from the 382 and not hit that 0.5. But I would really like to see us come down again, and we're just starting to chop. So the fact that we're starting to chop down here and find a little bit of a base is good. But I would like to come down one more time and hit that 0.5. I think I deleted the thing that I set an alert on, so we'll set a new alert. Actually, it's right here. Guys, give me just a second here. I gotta help the dog out real quick. Give me like 30 seconds. All right, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, we're starting to consolidate a little bit here. I would like to see a move, one more high being made within this little, what could be an impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, the VWAP is going to be important today because in a downtrend, your intraday trend-based volume resistance in this case is going to be that VWAP. And if we do come up to the VWAP and we reject from the VWAP, you're going to expect to make new lows below your local lows. In other words, we might be able to take a short too from the VWAP. Monty, of course, man. Thank you for the comment. Yasharo, thank you as well for the comment. Absolutely, man. Anytime. Okay, what other altcoins do we have? ZEC. Okay, ZEC. Now, ZEC is trying to get back in a channel. We're pretty much chopping around the bottom of the channel here of this bigger descending channel that we've been in for really since the highs. You can see we're chopping in this descending channel. But the big thing with ZEC is we lost the pitchfork. And you can see the pitchfork was up here. We lost it. We bearishly backtested it. It was also the value area high of your range. And now we're falling and we're confirming reacceptance back within the volume profile. Let me go to the 4-hour chart. So that's just of the corrective move, right? This over from the low after the 50% crash. It was like a 50-60% crash on ZEC. And so we're analyzing the corrective move after that crash. We've confirmed reacceptance back within the value area high. We have rejected on the bearish backtest of the pitchfork here. So it's likely that we do make a move down towards the 786 because your point of control is there. Now, if we also turn on our golden pocket, we are at the golden pocket. We do have some very nice bull divs on the chart. You can see here. 1, 2, 3. Money flow starting to curve to the upside. But I would like, in order to get that last drive of bull divs confirmed, you want to take out this local low right in here. So we can actually look for at least a scalp long off of the SFP if we get it, if and only if you get it. Because remember, if you don't get it, you're probably going to keep dumping here. So if you get a SFP of 451.15, you can look for a scalp long because we do have some bull divs on the chart. I'll add an alert here. And pretty much if we break this golden pocket, you're highly likely to drop to your point of control. So we have the point of control of our smaller corrective range, and then we also have a much bigger range that comes in here of all this upper price action. So this is like a daily time frame range. And I know that this chart is super messy, guys. But this whole upper range in here, that's your point of control. At 414, 415, let's say. What we could be looking at on the higher time frames, let me just hide this. From the crash lows, it's a bit confusing here because we do have a valid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I actually want to make sure that our third wave is not the shortest, because if your third wave is the shortest, it cannot be an impulse. And yes, your third wave is the shortest here because it didn't even reach the 1-to-1. So we cannot call that an impulse now. So forget what I just said there. So now we have to classify this as more of a corrective move, right? Corrective move there. And then we could be, so just like with Ethereum, just like with Solana, from the lows, we have corrective moves to start, which is not a good sign. It's on the macro timeframes. It's not a good sign. We're now going to have to say that this is either going to be a larger correction. You know, that's your W. This is your X in here. And then we could be looking at an extended Y in the bullish case scenario where you're still expecting to reject after that and make new lows below your 250 lows pretty much. In the bullish case scenario, I mean, guys, there's really not too much of a bullish case scenario because of this, but you still could be looking for a local move up from the golden pocket or from the 786. So the two actionable trades on ZEC for me, for long positions, because we're building some bull divs here. Let's go to the 8-hour real quick. I want to see how our 8-hour looks. Yeah, nice bull divs building. Now your money flow is still heavily in the red here, but you can see the bull divs forming in here as well. Money flow starting to curve up on NAMI, which is good. So what we want to see here is either a long position from our golden pocket, which we're pretty much at right now, or from the 786 and your point of control. That's only a 56% move to the upside, so this needs to be not on log scale. Okay, good. What we could say here is with this move down in this descending channel, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, right? So if the impulse is done now you could be looking at, you know, well, actually you don't want to take out that low then at 451. And if this was a 1, 2, you needed 3, 4, 5 here. Once again, this is a 3-wave corrective move. So we would have to actually alter this count in here. Maybe a 1, 2, 1, 2. This is your third wave. And now we have to have a 4, 5, 4, 5. And then you would see that move up. You are at support pretty much with some bull divs on the chart. So take that as you will. I personally am not going to be looking for long unless we SFP the low at 451.15. And you want to see the pierce below it, the rise above it. Once you rise above it, you enter the long position. And then as far as resistances for that long position, okay, we have a naked weekly point of control. At 515. Same with the naked daily up there as well. So that is a good resistance. And the reason why I'm looking at that one is because look at, there's liquidity right into that. Obviously, we'd need to make another new local low. So that fib would change very slightly, this fib pull that I just did. And it's not quite a 30% drop, so we're not changing this to log scale yet. That would be right around your 0.5. And that is, if you see an impulse down, your common targets for a corrective move, your most common targets, your golden pocket. But you can see I have labeled here ABC correction target. The 0.5 or the equilibrium is, especially in traditional markets, often rejects you. So I would be looking at that zone. You have the SFP into this level. If we get the long position, I would at least take some profit in this zone. And that's still a good trade there, right? Leave some of it open, of course, if in case you come up all the way up to the value area high of the range and sweep the liquidity of the whole channel. All right, let me see here. What other one were we looking at? Hype is now above the SFP level. Okay, let's see here. Because that must have been quick. Yeah, wow. Okay, we're bouncing from the 1.236. We're reclaiming, guys. Unfortunately, so if you're just playing the SFP alone, that the only confirmation in order to take a swing failure pattern trade is to pierce below and then reclaim it. So just based off that, you could have entered the long position once you started reclaiming it. Now, as far as the technicals go, we do not see confirmations to enter a trade here. You know, there's not really anything in here. On this last little move down here, it's kind of opposite. You can see these 1-2s building up 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, I don't like that because your primary 1 and your primary 2 are smaller than your secondary 1 and secondary 2. But if we're looking at some 1-2s in here, you have your third wave down. Now we would be looking for 4-5s in here. You would want to see some little 4-5s. So it makes sense that over the weekend, we could be forming those 4-5s and finding a base of support in here in order for a bigger move up. Let's pull our targets for that. If we go from the highs of our third wave to the lows of our third wave, put on our wave 4 targets. Let's see if we can't find some rejections in this zone in order to make new local lows. You do have this order block right here, this 1 hour order block. The top of that order block is coming up into that 0.5. Yeah, I mean, it is a nice reaction. I have to say that's a nice reaction off the 1.236. Unfortunately, we were looking at it 5 minutes too early, or 5 minutes too, early. So that's up to you guys if you want to take that trade. We are in a support level. We are hitting our 1.236. And you're reclaiming the lows. The big thing, if you're going to enter a long right now, so let's say you are thinking about entering the long right now. Obviously, you're going to be entering at market right now. Your stop is going to go below that local low. What you would want to target first is the value area low of the range. That is still a 3.6 risk to reward ratio, so it's a valid trade right there. If you want to be a little bit more conservative and wait for this impulse to finish, like I said, you have those 1-2s in here. You're going to want to see some more chop in this zone, and it would allow for some bull divs to be created in here on lower time frames. But it's available. It's available there just because you got back above the level. And they call me the king. Thank you for pointing that out. Yep, Darksby, you're so right. Set the alert at the target and check to see if the setup is valid. And for an SFP setup, the only confirmation you need is the pierce below and the reclaim above. And sometimes I'll wait for like a 5-minute candle close above or even a 15-minute candle close above. But it's better to see the bull divs included with that. It's more likely to play out if you have the bull divs included with that pierce below and reclaim. I just don't like the lack of bull divs we're seeing on the 1 hour and under. 1 hour, no bull divs. 30-minute, no bull divs. No bull divs. Let's see, 5. Yeah, you have some very slight bull divs on the 5-minute. All right, what's Bitcoin up to? Oh, good. Okay, so let's see if on Bitcoin we can't get that one more move back down. Yeah, Uniswap. With Uniswap, we did sweep the highs in that scalp trade that we made yesterday played out. So we were looking at scalping this move down. We were looking at a long in this zone. Stop going below that low. And we were looking to take it up to take out that high, and it played out. And I posted about that last night. As soon as we were hitting that high, I was saying the scalp trade played out. If you're in that, I would consider taking profits. Not financial advice, but consider taking profits. And as soon as you got that high, look at you make the big move down. So we are coming into our larger time frame corrective zone between the 382 and the 0.5. And if we're looking at this being an impulse in here, some 1, 2, 1, 2s. This is your third wave, maybe. This is your first 4, 5. Or actually, that's probably part of your internal third wave. So 1, 2, 1, 2, your third wave. Now you're looking to come down a 4, a 5, a 4, a 5, potentially coming up to 480. 481. You broke out of the value area high of your range with a nice little impulse that looks incomplete here. Right? Because look at the way this looks. It's contracting just like you want to see your 1-2s, and then you get the big explosive move to the upside. And actually, we should pull this from here. So you're really your zone. Let me redo this here. Boom. You're in the zone between the lows of wave 3 and the highs of wave 3 for your wave 4s to be coming in. You're bouncing from that 382 or 0.5. You actually haven't hit it quite yet. But this is where you would want to see a turnaround. And then you would want to come up to make new highs. It would be nice if we get one more drop to actually hit the 0.5, because that would also give us some bull divs. How is our money flow looking? It is curving down, but it's still not super bad, and we don't have bear divs. We don't have any bear divs in here yet. Uniswap was looking a bit more bullish than some of the other assets in here. You're breaking out of your big lower range in here. Now, you just did take the highs of the range. Just barely. It's a double top in here, but that could be a small little pullback before continuing up to your major zone. And remember, the value area low is just about, we're pretty much back testing the value area low of our previous range. So you have a very clear sideways range up here. When you break a range down like that, especially with high volume, after you find some support, you look to come up to back test that value area low. If you reject, you're honestly looking to eventually take out that low. Not right away, but eventually take out that low. If you can get back inside of that range, which would mean pretty much breaking above 481 and flipping it locally to support, you have a real shot of making your way all the way up towards the POC at like 6. You know, what is that? 610 to like 618. So it's a very crucial test that's happening right now on Uniswap. Because this starts with a 3-wave corrective move, we have to watch for overall this move up, this whole move up being part of a larger correction. And that's why we're looking between the 1.236 and the 1-to-1. So you're in that major zone, right? That purple box, that major zone for resistance. You did hit the liquidity. It's not a nice liquidity grab, but it did pierce above just barely. It's pretty much a double top, but you can see on the 5-minute, you did pierce above it just the very, very slightest bit. By 1,000th of a dollar, right? Jeez. So let's just say it's a double top there. I'm going to set an alert on that 0.5. If we come down there and we have continued bull divs on the 15-minute and under, I might try a scalp just based off the Elliott waves. No, I do a couple of other things. I don't want to get too much into that because there's a lot of scammers that lurk, you know, and God, I'm attacked by scammers literally on a daily basis. Guys, if you ever do decide to become more public with your trading and like do YouTube or anything like that, you have to protect yourself so much more. One of the main reasons right now that I don't use a camera to show my face is because the scammers already try to get at me so hard. And like, I'm constantly protecting myself. They're constantly trying to send out phishing emails, all these different things like that. So it's something to really think about if you ever do decide to start like publicly trading or doing YouTube or anything like that. It's a real thing you got to consider. All right, let me check Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? Man, it's really trying to bounce before hitting that 0.5. I mean, it's the zone, right? Between the 382 and the 0.5 is where you want to see that kind of roll and come up. Let me move that out of the way. What I see here is we could be forming nice bull divs if we were getting lower lows, but we're not. You can see we have this like 1 minute trend channel or 1 minute little trend line in here. And if we would have broken those down, we would have had some nice 1 minute bull divs with money flow curving to the upside. But those are trigger waves right now. And we even have kind of this triangle that's forming on the 1 minute in here with a little bit of a reaction above. Remember, with triangles, they're continuation consolidation patterns. So because you dumped coming into the triangle, you have a higher likelihood of dumping coming out of it. And oftentimes you'll see the fake breakout just to grab liquidity, and then it ends up breaking down. So for me now, I'm not looking to take the trade because I know that market makers play that way. And trust me, even though it's only a 1 minute triangle, you have a bunch of ultra low time frame scalpers that are going to fall for that trap. It's just like I pointed that out to you guys on XRP yesterday. XRP had a high time frame symmetrical triangle. It broke up to grab liquidity, and then it ended up dumping. And because this triangle is a continuation consolidation pattern, it does have a higher chance to break down, especially because we already had the fake out with the grab of liquidity. Yeah, I can analyze, Graham. Thank you so much for the super chat deal. Is this the correct? Okay, wait. Let me get into the hour. MoneyGram, or are you looking at MoneyGram the stock? Let me know in the chat if you're looking at MoneyGram the stock or if this is like a tokenized version of it. Oh, okay. It was previously Tom. Okay, Graham. So is this the yeah, this is the correct chart right here? Let's see, that's at 1.39. Let me just check TON real quick. USDT. Yeah, that's the correct chart. Okay. There we go. So we're not going to have a lot of price history because they just changed the chart. Man, maybe I can go to TON real quick and see. The overall structure, and then we can look at. Obviously, you got that huge dump in October. That's probably why they ended up changing their name because it probably destroyed the entire thing there. This does look kind of like a 3-wave corrective move. It made a lower high, and then now we do have a real chance of coming down and continuing down. But it's a bit muddy because of this huge wick in here. Like that is just a huge wick. I understand it actually happened. We actually saw that crash in October. Let me just go to the gram chart and we'll analyze what we can on the gram chart. Well, the week hasn't closed yet, but we have a weekly up here. That's your weekly open. We have a weekly here. at 177.8. Let's go to the daily. Man, there's not too much we're going to be able to do with this, but from the highs, we have clearly what looks to be an impulse down, followed by a corrective move, making a lower high, another impulse down, followed by another three-wave corrective move. And because this here is a three-wave corrective move and you've taken out this higher low, you're likely to take out the overall low now. You're likely to take out this overall low. Okay, so let me just zoom in on like the 4 hours so I can show you that a little bit better. This is 1, 2, 3, and this is likely to be a fourth wave corrective move. And now you're looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to take out that low. What you could pull from that low is you are starting to develop a sideways range and a little bit of a bottom in here. So we can pull that volume profile over. You're below the value area low. So you rejected your POC. You tried to bounce from the value area low. You failed. You lost it. You bearishly backtested it. So because we bearishly backtested and we're rejecting the value area low, at the very minimum, you're highly likely to take out this low at 138, right? That was from Wednesday, July 29th, this last Wednesday. But because this overall move was a three-wave move and you've already lost this low, meaning you broke market structure bearishly, right? Because you have this as your bearish market structure break as soon as you broke below that. After breaking below it, you rejected the value area low. So it's really confirming, not 100% confirmation yet, but it's highly probable that this move up was a corrective move, meaning that is that you're at least looking to take that out. Let's see, you kind of had this channel, but I don't like that. Let's actually look at coming up to that lower high correction. We'll put it down to that first low there. So you have this channel of trending price action to the downside. Bounce from your midline, but you rejected your value area low. You could come all the way down. Unfortunately, you could come all the way down to the bottom of the channel. I know that's a very steep price, and like we can take this same channel, because remember, a channel is based off a trend, right? We are in a downtrend, so the channel is being respected as far as the trend goes. We could look at now taking a pitchfork of that trend. So we would want to take a pitchfork of the very first start of that trend. So your very first move down, followed by your first move up. And yeah, it's pretty much the same channel, but now you're looking at, instead of coming all the way to the bottom of the channel, you could bounce from your lower band. Let me just check this. If we put it to a modified, okay, that's too much. Yeah. So first off, because we rejected the value area low, you're likely to come sweep Wednesday's lows. You have almost a double bottom going on right now of Wednesday's lows, but I would look for it to continue down to actually like pierce below them and sweep it. You also have overlap between these lows here and these highs here. So if it was going to be an impulse, right? After the three-wave corrective move, you're looking to finish it with an impulse. If this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, you have overlap between your wave 1 lows and your wave 4 highs. So we can, unless it's a contracting diagonal, which because the way this is looking, it could be a valid contracting diagonal. In that case, you want to pull your channel here down to that one. And let me just hide this pitchfork so we can get a clear view on this. If you hit the top of this channel, it's going to invalidate the contracting diagonal because you want this to be contracting. but you could be looking towards the bottom of this channel. And remember, this is just after this corrective move here. So it still could be, there's two opportunities, right? To end in an impulse. You have a double 1-2 impulse or a contracting diagonal. And we have to say a double 1-2 impulse because there's overlap between these lows and these highs. Now, in Elliott waves, a double 1-2 impulse is more common than a contracting diagonal. So if you're going off based off probabilities, you would first count this as a 1-2, 1-2, and then you would be looking for 3s and then some 4-5s to come in. But you would still keep in mind, in the back of your mind, the less likely scenario is that this is a contracting diagonal with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you get the move up. So yeah, I would just be paying attention to the wave 5 targets just in case it is a contracting diagonal. And what you can do is you can pull your fib from the lows of 4 to the highs of 4, and you're going to put on your wave 5 targets, which are between the 1.236 and the 1.618. And if we look at where that liquidity is, it is in that zone. And I would think, though, you're probably going to drop towards the 1.618, around 134.4. Although your 1.236 is at that pitchfork midline, but you still want to take this out. So personally, based off the overall analysis here, I would be looking for shorts, maybe around the VWAP or maybe around this upper band in here. I would be looking for some short trades, but you got to be careful. You have bull divs on the chart. You can see some nice 4-hour bull divs are actually, they're not yet. Let me see if that took it out. Let's see if this took it out. This is at 138 and 138. So it's an equal low. So it didn't make a lower low. Remember, with bull divs, you have to have lower lows in the price action, not equal lows in the price action. So it's exactly a double bottom here. What you're looking for then, in order to confirm these as bull divs, in order to confirm this is a bull div, you need a lower low. You have one drive of bull divs that bring you this 4-hour move up. We could get another drive of bull divs. Money flow looks good, rounding to the upside, but you want to come down locally and take out that 138 low. So because of that, and even in this last move down, 1, 2, 3, you could be looking for a 4 and then a move down towards that 1.236. So let's grab our fourth wave target here. Yeah, okay. So VWAP is all going to be important because you could reject from the VWAP, but if you break a little bit above that, that 382 at 140 would be a potential for a short, in my opinion, and not financial advice, right? Because you're looking for, oops. You're looking at this last move as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5 to actually make a lower low here. And the midline of the pitchfork with the SFP is looking pretty good. Or you could look at that 1.236 at 136.6. I mean, it's really a zone of support in here. So maybe we could look for a scalp short off the 382. I will set an alert on that 382. If we come up there and we see some local bear divs, I would be potentially interested in taking the short. If I see some, you would want to see bull divs, bear divs in this grindy move up. Like you'd have to be looking lower time frame, like 15-minute and under for some bear divs. Yes, and we will check Tal. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. I want to check Bitcoin really quickly. It looks like Bitcoin's moving. Let's see here. Come on, Biddy. A little more. So see how I said earlier, guys, on that 1 minute time frame? It's a continuation consolidation pattern, the triangle. And because we had the fake out to grab liquidity of the highs, it was far more likely that this was going to break down. So now we're seeing that breakdown, but let's see if we can't get that support in this green box. And remember, this is a very low time frame scalp. This could easily get lost. So like you want to come down, hit the bottom, and as soon as you start to reclaim the top of the box, you can enter the long position. If we pierce straight through it, there's no long, right? If you chop around in here and you're piercing and you're kind of losing it and back testing it, low time frames, there's no long position to be taken. And the reason why is because this is a very, very, you know, crappy looking. And even in here, I mean, good luck trying to count 5 waves within this. Like, actually, what? I don't even know if you could count this as a valid impulse, because this move, this first move up here, I mean, this is a 1 minute time frame. You generally don't want to look at Elliott waves under the 15-minute. And on the 15-minute, you at least see this move up, followed by a move down, and then you get your aggressive move up. Okay. It's hitting. So see, we're hitting the level, starting to see a little bit of a reaction, but we don't take the trade unless we reclaim the top of the box. Now we can set what we want to see here. I'm going to put the stop right below that local low. Okay, nope, so far. Now we have to increase our stop loss. All right, it looks like this trade might not play out, guys, because we are getting... We're not seeing the reaction we want to see. We busted straight through it. If we can reclaim the top of the green box, that's when we can start to look at the long trade. But for right now, no trade to be taken. So we just got to be patient and wait right here. Okay, starting to get back inside. Let's see what we got. Now, stop loss is going to go a little bit below that low. It is still a 9-to-1 risk to reward ratio to come up to the VWAP. You're going to be entering, you have a pretty good, you could pretty much 10x long your whole account, and if you get stopped out, you're going to lose 1%. So you'd have to do that calculation pretty fast here. But if we start to reject this and roll over, like I said, if we see this chop in here, I'm not taking a trade. I don't want to see this starting to chop around in here. Okay, now you're starting to get above. I would like to close a 1 minute candle above it. Let's see what we get in here, and you guys can get your scalping ready if you want to. Okay, there you go. So now you can look at entering. I just did enter that trade, guys. You have to calculate your risk management based off of what you have your portfolio size. So let's grab the calculator real quick. All right, if we're risking 1%, so I'm just going to give let's say we have $1,000 account. So 1% of $1,000 is $10. That's what you're risking per trade. That means if you get stopped out, you're going to lose $10. It's not your position size. Your position size is always based off of this stop loss percentage here. So what we're going to do is you take $10 and you divide it by this percentage, but because it's in a percentage, you got to move the decimal over 2 spots. So we're going to do $10 divided by 0.00085, right? Because you took the decimal and you moved it over 2 spots. You could put $11,764 on this trade, and if you get stopped out, you're only going to lose $10, guys. Now you're going to say, wait a second, Divine Hood, you just told me that I only have $1,000 account. How am I supposed to put almost $12,000 on this account? Well, that's where leverage comes into play. You're going to have to crank up your leverage to 12x. You enter this amount in your position size, and then if it plays out, you're going to, it's a 9-to-1. So you're risking $1 to make $9 pretty much, and it scales up, right? So that's kind of the way you would calculate that position size for this. If you get stopped out, you're only going to lose that 1% of the portfolio. Now, guys, on the other hand here, we have to be very defensive here, because if we come up to this triangle and we start to reject, this could get ugly quick. It could get very, very ugly very, very quickly here. I don't, let's see. That dip created a pretty strong 1 minute and 3 minute bull div, at least not on Market Cipher. It didn't. Here, the 1 minute, there's no bull divs. Let's look at the 3 minute real quick. You do have 3 minute bull divs on NAMI with some money flow bull divs as well, but not on Market Cipher. It's a good reaction, right? Look at, you hit the value area low, or is that a high? It's the value area low of a range into the 0.5 Fibonacci. And now you're starting to move up. So we're testing right now the triangle. This is important right here, guys. We need to break above this. We need to break above this triangle here. You know what we should have done too, is we should have shorted the SFP of this high as soon, because we knew we were in a triangle, which is more likely to break down. So if you short the SFP of the high, just to come down and hit that value area low, or yeah, to hit the box, even the top of the box, that's a 7-to-1 scalp we could have taken on that short. But that obviously is hindsight analysis. I don't like that we're starting to reject here. Come on, Biddy. Come on, Bulls. Step in. Nothing as far as CVD goes here. No bull divs, no bullish divergences, no bearish divergences. Okay, not a good sign here, guys. Not a good sign. Money flow starting to come out again. Let's see what happens. We really need to get back. We need to break up this thing to the upside. Adam, you shorted 63.2. Oh, nice, dude. You got a pretty good entry up here at 63.2. Very cool. Now, Adam, we are coming down to that value area low. You can see the value area low of the range. And because we found reacceptance after we lost it this morning, we're finding reacceptance back within it. You lost it, you're finding reacceptance back within it. If you back test it and it holds, you would expect to make new local highs. So I don't know if you took any profit on that short, but you might consider it because we're starting to see a bounce. You might just want to consider it. You know, it's obviously I'm not telling you what to do. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor, but me personally, that's a nice scalp, right? That's a nice little scalp there. You shorted 63.2. And that's, wow, that's a really good, if you put your stop above that local high, if you shorted 63.2-ish, well, that's close enough, okay? Stop above the high, even to come down to backtest the value area high. That's a 7-to-1 scalp risk to reward. So that's a really nice little scalp you just got there. because we're bouncing, I would probably pull some out if it was my trade. And this is not financial advice, but that's what I probably would do. I'd pull out 50% and move my stop loss to break even, because there is a real shot that we could keep going up here and hit the VWAP. I don't like the way this is turning out, though. We can't get back inside. We're really struggling here, guys. We're really struggling here. I know I will look at Tau still, so don't worry about that. I will look at that. Yeah, Mr. Ekachun, we're freaking DJing like crazy, huh? I promise you guys, I usually don't scalp the 1 minute time frame like this. It's a bit too much for me, but like, I'm trying to get you guys some more live trading instead of just analysis. I'm trying to get you some more live trading. There we go. Nice. Nice to see. All right. Do you use Bookmap, heat map? I think it is very useful for shorter time frames. Help me avoid those stop hunts. No, I don't use Bookmap heat map. I use a heat map from Coinalyze or CoinGlass. Excuse me, CoinGlass. Look at that, guys. Let's go to let's go to the 12-hour. Actually, we'll go to our Model 1. Model 1 is like for lower time frame, and ooh, I don't like how we have liquidity resting down at 62. But there was also some liquidity that's left over from the high from just earlier today. So we might make that new high real quick before taking out the low. And that's pretty much essentially what our scalp is, right? We have a high up here with some liquidity that is still floating just above it. And all this long position is really, as soon as you take out that high, you want to take some profit. Now, because the VWAP is just above it, that's kind of where my first TPE level is, but that is, you know, it's playing out. Now okay, this is a good sign here, guys. So this scalp long trade is likely to play out here. I shouldn't say that. It's likely that we at least move up towards our golden pocket. So let's pull. Our golden pocket here. Actually, and then we can even pull on the 1 minute time frame a volume profile of this corrective range. We're at the POC. We have to be very careful here. If we start to reject this POC, I might even pull out 25% to lock in some profits. This indicator under Market Cipher is called NAMI Trading. And I'm affiliated with them, and I have a discount code if you're interested. If you click the link in the description of my video, it's namitrading.com. And then when you're checking out, if you choose to buy the lifetime subscription, I have a discount code Divine50. You can get 50% off of it. Now, if you want to try it out for a month, discount code Divine25 should work for 25% off for that monthly fee. But it's a great, in my opinion, it's a great indicator for confirmations to enter and exit trades. Starting to reclaim the POC. All right, the bulls are starting to get a little bit of intraday momentum in here. We don't want to lose it again, though. We're above it on the 1 minute. We do not want to lose it because we still haven't quite, even closed a 1 minute candle above it. Now we did. We closed a 1 minute candle above it. Let's see if we can't get continuation. I also am going to be watching the value area high, guys, because the value area high is where that liquidity grab was from just an hour ago. Or a half an hour ago, whatever. And remember, at the VWAP, if we start to reject from the VWAP, we can look to enter a short there. Let's pull our fifth wave targets, actually. If we're looking at this as a little impulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can look at our fifth wave targets by going from the highs of 4 to the lows of 4. And we want to pull those fifth wave targets. So yeah, I mean, look at, you have your 1.236 up here to the 1.618. I actually like that 1.618 as well because it's the back test of our anchored VWAP. And you can see the anchored VWAP is still giving us reactions. You come down, you bounce from it, you back test the POC, you try to bounce again, and then you fall through it. So now it was a valid support earlier today. It could be a valid resistance still today or tomorrow. Because we're looking at, you know, a 1 to an ABC here. Okay, I'm going to go to Tau real quick, guys. I have to do Tau USD. So we are chopping around our pitchfork midline. Now, the other day, I think it was on Tuesday, we had the SFP of this low, and I let you guys know that that was a valid entry because we pierced it and we closed above it. I did not take that personally, but we are starting to form some really nice bull divs. Look at, in this kind of choppy channel, you're seeing a choppy channel in here. That's selling exhaustion, right? You have selling exhaustion in here after a big move down. You have your big aggressive move down, followed by this choppy channel in here, and you are creating bull divs on the chart. Multiple drives of bull div on the chart. The big thing, though, with Tau right now is it looks like we are trying to create another triangle. And I don't like that for making another low down to 176, right? So you have this triangle here. So we could watch for the, once again, guys, the fake out of the triangle to grab liquidity and maybe even hit this SFP up here and then fall down to 176, 176.7, 176.2. So we're starting to come to our box, but the pitchfork midline for now is holding as support. You're just not seeing the breakout. You want to break above this, these lower highs here, this triangle. You want to start to break this triangle. I don't know why I did that. Let me re-throw that back on the chart. You could either do it that way or you could throw it. Well, yeah, I think that's the right triangle to use. So I would be concerned that we are going to make another new low. We are forming some really nice bull divs at your pitchfork midline support. And the bullish, at least we have some bullish signs on the chart because you get the initial aggressive move down, and now we're starting to get that choppy selling exhaustion overlap. Okay, but because we are still forming a triangle and having trouble breaking out here, we could just see a fake out move to come up to grab those highs into that golden pocket and then see a move back down. I have an alert set on those highs, by the way. If we do grab those highs into the local golden pocket, we can look for a short at pretty much 206, right? 205 to 206. And I would short that down to 176.77. That's your naked weekly point of control. You see, I also have alerts set on the weekly and the daily. Yeah, look at the bull divs you're seeing, though. Very nice bull divs. Money flow curving to the upside here. Nice bull divs here. Money flow crossing into the green on NAMI, or about to cross into the green on NAMI here. So it looks like at least that the 4-hour bull divs that we're seeing could give us a move to 205. 4-hour, 8-hour bull divs could give us a move to 205, and then we might come down and hit 176. On the daily time frame, yeah, aggressive move down, starting to get the choppy overlap. Bull divs on the daily time frame. Bull divs on the daily time frame. Money flow curving up on the daily time frame. Money flow curving up for the past couple of days here. Tau actually looks pretty good for a relief bounce. The pierce of the low was a very poor pierce of the low, so that's why I'm concerned about seeing the fake out into 206 before dropping again. But let's just say we did that. It might give us another, you know, say we spend the weekend or the next couple of days coming up here. Maybe we hit it on Wednesday and then we get that move down. It could give you the chance to make another drive of bull divs. And you even have the more regional bull divs because technically you did take out this low. You can see that the low was at 183.4 and this low was at 183.33. So it did take out the low. Yeah, guys, please do smash the like button. If you get any sort of insight into the market from this live stream, please do smash the like button for me. Share the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. We just got to be a bit careful with this triangle in here. I would like to break out and come up to grab liquidity and maybe even look at, because a lot of times in these triangle fake out breakouts, you'll only grab the second pivot or the highs of the triangle. So it doesn't mean we have to come up to the golden pocket. You could reject from either one of those before falling. Another thing you can do is just take the volume profile of kind of all this choppy, I would say from this sideways range in here. Yeah, you're trying to bounce from the POC right now. You're trying to flip the POC to support, but you're still having trouble breaking out of the value area high. Let's just bring this back just a little bit. Actually, we could look at this coming all the way to here because this is your initial aggressive move down is all of this. And then this is kind of when you start going sideways and down with the choppy overlap. So you want to measure that sideways and down choppy overlap. So look at where your volume profile value area high is. Right? And you're right around the POC. You really want to start to flip this POC to support. There's a lot of choppiness in here. So you'd be really managing two different volume profiles. You'd manage this larger one with all of the choppiness, but then you would also want to manage the smaller one until you break out of it. All right, Graham is crossing. All right, Graham is coming up to that 382 and 0.5. Let's see if we get something here. Money flow looks pretty good right now. As what I'm seeing right now, let's see if we get some sort of reaction in this zone, in this whole zone right here. Starting to react from the 382. I personally am not going to take this trade on Graham, even if we get it. But it's there if you, it's a possibility. I don't want to say, I don't like how these candles look. It looks like too low liquidity for me. You see all these, like the way the candles look, it's too low of liquidity for me to trade this. But this is kind of your zone, and you just don't want to overlap these lower highs or these lows right here. But yeah, Okay, now you're hitting the pitchfork band. Let's see if we get, yeah, there we go. We hit the pitchfork band, and if we start to lose the 382, you might be able to look for a short. Is hype pumping? You close your hype long, hype USD. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, remember, we have these 1-2s in here. 1, 2, 1, 2. We have a 3. So now we need some 4-5s and some 4-5s to come in. So yeah, I would be patient on hype. Like, even within the structure here, it's not done. And clearly this is a third wave down. You know, this is your big gap, right? Between, there's choppy overlap here. You have a gap. Now you need some more choppy overlap. But what I will do is I will set an alert on this 0.65 golden pocket, because if we get that choppy overlap into the 0.65, we might be able to take the long from there. Yeah, thanks, Darksby. Have a good weekend, man. And thank you for joining. Much love to you. Okay, Bitcoin is pushing a little bit. We're starting to reject from the value area high. I don't like that. And remember the liquidity that was there. So we just saw an SFP. Man, if I was paying attention to Bitcoin, I would have taken some profit the second we SFP'd that. So actually, guys, what I'm going to do on my personal trade right now is if we lose and start to close any candles below the POC, I'm going to take out some money. Right now, we're not closing any candles below it. You got 30 seconds, Bitcoin. No, don't. Because look at, we just SFP'd the highs into the value area high of our 1 minute long range. So now we could drop again. We did see a 1 minute break in market structure though. We had our low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we broke market structure by breaking this high. Now we want to see a 3-wave move to the value area low and then continuation up. Yeah, I'm going to pull out just, I'm probably going to pull out 25% right now, guys. Okay. Yeah, 1 minute scalping. Let me know, do you guys like this kind of micro scalping, or would you guys rather stick to some of the bigger, you know, like intraday trades, you know, like day trades and maybe even swing trades, stuff like that. Like, I'm still going to be doing that stuff too as well, but it's just been very slow, and I feel like that we haven't had much trade opportunity lately, so I just wanted to get you guys something to kind of look at. And plus, I think it helps going through all of this stuff live, because when you go all through like kind of how to execute a trade live, it doesn't matter if it's on the 1 minute or like the 2 hour, 1 hour time frame. It kind of lets you know once you pierce the level, reclaim, you can enter. You have a better chance to enter. You had to calculate your stop loss and everything like that. Okay, cool, guys. Awesome. Both. Yeah, I will do both. Okay, Travi, we can look at the 15-second strategy. Oh, yeah, guys. So here, I see this all right away already. As we were coming up to SFP this high, we are having some bear divs on the 15-second in the SFP, and now we're making trigger waves with money flow coming out on the 15-second. So if we reject this POC right now, it's likely to come down to value area low. Let's see what we get. All right, come on, Bitcoin. Keep going. Keep going, Biddy. Nice. All right. So if we can break this lower high right here at 62,979-ish, then it's more likely confirmed that this was a 3-wave corrective move down, and we're likely to break the high. So let's see if we can get above that high, 62,979 on Coinbase. Travis, Travie Trades, do you trade the 15-second a lot? We're just seeing a lot of trades close out here. So nothing. We're seeing long trades closing out. Unfortunately, guys, we're seeing some long trades. Look at on this 5-minute time frame, right at the lows, and this was partially me. Some long stepped in right here. Well, they're now starting to close out. And that's why it's dumping again, because longs closing out is a market sell. So they closed out on that SFP of this little micro scalping thing. Okay, just to see if we're building divs when scalping. Okay, cool, man. Yeah. I think that's a good to look at. That's why right now on the 15-second, it looks like that we might roll over here because we had the bear divs. The bear divs, bearish money flow, curving to the downside, multiple trigger waves here, curving to the downside, money flow curving down. So not looking the best here for our long trade, guys. All right, guys. I do have a few things that I got to do today, and I've been streaming for 2.5 hours, so I am going to get going. Remember, if you want updates throughout the weekend, I post in the Telegram. In order to join that Telegram, all you have to do is join BYDFI using my affiliate link in the description, and when your check, sorry, that's Nami. Join BYDFI and deposit a minimum deposit of $100 or more into the exchange. That's your money. You're not giving it to me. You're not giving it to BYDFI. Once you've done that, you can click the Telegram link in the description of the video. And in the Telegram channel, it's a Telegram Verify channel. Type in /verify and then your BYDFI user ID, and that'll get you into the Telegram. So thank you guys so much. It was an awesome stream today. I appreciate all of your support, all of your kind words. Thank you for the super chat as well. And I will see you